Before we look at the Home tab, let us also go to File and see what all we have here. You can create a new workbook. You have a lot of different templates that are available. You can click on more templates, and as you can see, there are different templates for different purposes. A weekly chore schedule, household monthly budget, invoices, employee absence, daily work, loan calculator, project planners, and so on and so forth. There are hundreds of these available, and you can simply search for these online templates. For example, if I want to search for a project schedule, I can simply type project and it gives me a monthly budget, a project planner, agile, project timeline, and so on and so forth. Let's just select one. I'm going to select, let's say, the agile Gantt chart. Click on create. And as you can see, it explains how the template works, what it does, and the entire template has been constructed for you with the right formulas, formatting, navigation. Everything has been put for you, and of course, all of this is completely editable. Let's come back to file. You can see the recent files on which you have worked. If you want to use a file regularly, you can even pin it by clicking on this pin button. This will pin the item to the list so that the TOC file in this example will always appear at the top of my list. You can open any existing file. You can open it from your local system, or you can open it from SharePoint or from OneDrive. If other people have shared the files with you, you can see them here as well. In info, you can see some data about the file, things like the modification date, created date. You can also see advanced properties that gives you even more details like this. This is important when you're working at an enterprise level because you want to make sure that all the relevant details have been put inside. If I want to open the folder in which this file is located, I can also click on open file location. We can put a password on our Excel file, so we can encrypt it with a password. And of course, there are different types of protection available, but this is the one that you would be using most often. If you want to share the file with somebody who's working on an older version of Excel, you can inspect the document and check the compatibility to see if there is anything which might create a problem for other people. You can see the version history. The version history, remember, will only work when you have saved the file on the cloud on OneDrive. I can also click on Manage Workbook to recover unsaved workbooks, which means that let's say you forgot to press Ctrl S and you want to see if there is any backup that has been saved automatically. In print, of course, you have different printing properties. You can print it to a PDF, send it to your printer. There are different options, for example, whether you want to collate or uncollate the data, whether you want a portrait or a landscape orientation, and what is the size that you want. So typically it would be an A4 size. You can also set the margins and see if you want to have scaling on the sheet or not. For example, if you say fit sheet on one page, then no matter how much data there is on the sheet, even if there are 100 columns, everything will fit into one single printout. Similarly, you have fit all columns on one page and fit all rows on one page. If you go to page setup, you get even more options here. In sharing, we can share it as an Excel workbook with other people using OneDrive. We can also publish it. Now, some of you might not see this option. It is slowly getting rolled out to all the people in the world, but right now, only a few systems have the publish to Power BI option. Power BI is a business intelligence tool by Microsoft, which is not a part of Microsoft Office, but it syncs with Excel. So those of you who do work on Power BI, it's very handy to know that you can actually publish the workbook directly to Power BI. In account, you can see different details. So for example, I'm working on a business account, Microsoft 365 apps. You can also check for an update. Even though it updates automatically, it's a good idea to check for updates. You can also click on what's new to see what are the new updates that have been rolled out. You can change the office background, so there are different styles available. If you look in the top right corner, you can also set the office theme. So you have a dark gray that looks like this, a black that looks like this, and I would like to use the default most of the time, which is colorful. You also have an option to give feedback to Microsoft. And finally, when we come to options, this is where you can customize and enable a lot of different things. I'm not going to cover each and every one because it will take a lot of time and we don't really need to do that. But let's broadly look at what all we have. We have some general options. I can set the default font size, font face. I can set the default of how many sheets will be present when somebody creates a new workbook. The username. In formulas, we can set iterations when you're working with iterative calculations. Right now we have 1, 2, 3, 4 and ABCD as the row and column, but we can set it to 1, 1, as in A1 will be shown as 1, 1, B2 will be shown as 2, 2, which is called a R1, C1 reference type. For most users, you don't really need to change anything here. Um, every once in a while for an advanced project, you might have to tinker around with the options available. But in my 15 years of experience, there seldom has been a need for me to change it too often. So you can basically leave it to default and that will do the job for you. In data, you can set the default layout of pivot tables. So you can set the way a pivot table is created. In proofing, we have proofing options, which helps us autocorrect simple spelling mistakes that we are making. We can also set our own custom dictionaries and you can just download a new one, which will allow you to work with different dictionaries in different languages. In the saving options, you can set the auto recover to maybe 2 or 3 minutes if you want to. You can also set the default format in which the file is saved. So maybe you want to save all your files as a CSV file, for example, and not as an Excel file. Then in language, of course, most of us would be working with English. Ease of access we can leave. Again, advanced options are mostly for editing and formulas and formatting. So you can just go over all of them and most of these are self-explanatory. If you have a touchscreen display, you can also use a pen to interact with the document. It also asks you if the images should be compressed or not. So you can set the default resolution. You can also set a high quality mode for graphics in case you want to print the document as a high quality printout. Right. I think most of these other things you can just leave to default and you would not need to change a lot. In Customize ribbon, you can see that we have all these tabs available, which is home, insert, page layout, formulas, data review. And this is how I have enabled the draw and the developer and the power pivot tab. So if you notice, by default, these don't have a tick mark on them, but you have to put a check to select them. Don't worry if you don't see Power Pivot and Script Lab, we'll be doing that later. If you want to, you can also create a new tab. For example, I can create a new tab and let's just rename this and call this Excel Bible. And in this new tab, we want to create two groups. We can call the first group as group 1 and let's just put an icon here. And in group 2, we'll put a different icon. I'm just randomly selecting one. Now in these groups, you also want to put some commands. Again, let's select conditional formatting and add it, delete cells and add it. So these have been added to group 1 and then I can select fill color and add it and format painter and add it. What is going to happen now is that if you notice there is a new tab that has been created called Excel Bible, which will now only contain the commands that you want. So while it does take a little bit of time to set it up, this is definitely worth the effort. Considering the fact that there are hundreds of different buttons and commands available on Excel, it's a good idea to make a new tab which only contains the things that you require on a daily basis. Let's go back to options. You don't have to delete it. If you just want to disable it for the moment, you can just disable it. If you want to share this with somebody else, you can simply export the customization and send somebody the file. Similarly, you can also import it if somebody sends it to you. For now, I don't need it because you have understood. So I'm going to delete this. So we can just click on remove. Quick access toolbar is this bar at the top where you see the drop down in the green bar at the top, which is a shortcut menu. So all the things that you use regularly, for example, conditional formatting, delete cells, and font. Just as an example, I can put these on the QAT, which is the quick access toolbar, and you will notice that these three have come here. This basically acts like a shortcut, which means that whichever tab you're working on, at any point, if you want to change the font face, you can simply click here and change the font face. Helps you save a lot of time. If you want to remove them, you can simply right click and remove, or you can even go to file options, quick access toolbar, and then select these and remove them from here. Let's come to add-ins. Add-ins are basically additional tools that are available on Excel. Some of them have been made by Microsoft themselves, some of them are made by other companies. And like you saw, Havisham Consulting is an add-in that I have created by myself. So it's not a Microsoft add-in. Power Pivot is an add-in. That means that it is inbuilt within Excel, but you have to enable it. How do you do that? In Manage, you select COM add-ins, which is Component Object Model. And when you click on Go, you notice that Power Pivot is enabled here. You simply have to put a check, and the moment you do that, Power Pivot will appear as a tab on your ribbon. This entire thing is called the ribbon. Let's see if I've left something out. Trust Center is essentially used when you're working with Visual Basic. So when you're working with programming, you might need to come here and make some modifications. But for 99 out of 100 users, this is not something that you would need to modify. In fact, I would recommend that you don't change anything and let it be as per the default settings. That's a better way of doing it. Great. So we have gone through the file and seen all the different options that are available. And then in the next lecture, we will start with the Home tab.